Welcome into CBS Sports HQ. It is Super Wild Card Sunday. 3 games on the docket for today. And of course, the early game, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jeremy St. Louis alongside Pete Prisco. Ryan Wilson will be along to join us shortly. And we can tell you the game has gone final. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers advancing to the divisional round with a 31-15 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom Brady, 29 of 37, just missing his prop, 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. Giovanni Bernard, 44 rush yards and a rushing touchdown. He also had 39 receiving yards. Mike Evans, the big receiving target for Tom Brady, 9 receptions for 117 and a score. Gronkowski also had a receiving touchdown. Not a great day for Jalen Hurts. He did throw a touchdown, but also threw 2 interceptions. For more on this game, we are now joined by CBS Sports NFL writer Ryan Wilson. Ryan, coming into this game, we knew Tampa was not the team they were a month ago, but they managed to get the job done versus the Eagles. What was the difference in this game for them?
Tom Brady, and there were some injuries they were dealing with coming into this game, but this is every game that Tom Brady has played as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs, that team has scored 30 or more points, and we saw that again on Sunday here. The Eagles didn't have a ton of answers. They came out offensively, couldn't get things going. The running game wasn't working. That's what they'd like to do, run the ball. Even with those injuries, Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, was able to shut down what Philadelphia wanted to do. And then Jalen Hurts, who had some opportunities early in the first half, he pretty much struggled for the final 2/3 of that football game, and without him playing well, there was really no opportunity for the Eagles to mount anything coming close to a comeback. They approached that backdoor cover at the end there, didn't quite get it, but in terms of threatening the Buccaneers and winning this football game, that was never going to happen at any point. The Buccaneers started strong, continued strong throughout the game, and we saw Hurts, as we see here in this graphic, he struggled pretty mightily. Look, Dallas Goedert dropped the ball. There's some questionable penalties called against the Eagles early in that game. Certainly didn't affect the outcome, but perhaps affected the momentum as Philadelphia tried to get going. They never did, and Jalen Hurts loses this playoff game as the Eagles starter.
I don't think this is a game about the Bucs as much as it is about the Eagles, and by that I mean, look, the Bucs were winning this game from start to finish. They dominated the whole thing. It got close at the end. If you think 16 is close, but it's hard to evaluate Tampa Bay based on what the Eagles did today. They were so bad, and they were terrible on defense for much of the game. They did get this pressure going. They had 4 sacks. They didn't do anything on offense until late in the game when it was 31-0. And there's now major questions about Jalen Hurts. So from a Bucs standpoint, yeah, it's a good win, but can we take from this that they're ready to go on and win in the second round of the playoffs? I don't think you can. I think losing Wirfs, if he's down in the next game, is a really big blow to whoever they play in the next round.
Well, what about, you said there's questions about Jalen Hurts developing after the performance today, and certainly legitimate questions about Jalen Hurts based on the way that he played in this game. But what about Nick Sirianni?
Well, there were questions about Nick Sirianni all year, early in the year, and a lot of people, questioned him, but getting this team to the postseason should eliminate those questions. This is not a good football team. When you look at it, yeah, they have some pieces in place, and they do have the building blocks, I think, to go forward. But the big question is Jalen Hurts one of those building blocks? And I still think he is. I just think he got too caught up in the moment. It got too big for him. It's his first playoff game. You're on the road. You're facing Tom Brady. He was erratic. His passes were high. He didn't seem to set his feet. He didn't go through his progressions. But I think that had a lot to do with the fact that this is his first playoff game and he's on the road. I still think he's improved greatly this season. Don't discount what he's done in one game. Let's just see moving forward. But they have a lot of guys, young players that are talented. Didn't get the ball to Devontae Smith enough today, I didn't think.
Yeah.
Get the ball to him. So imagine if this offense had Justin Jefferson instead of Jalen Reagor. They blew it.
Well, and we were talking about Miles Sanders coming into this game, too, the fact that we were expecting him to have a good showing in this game. But
didn't run it enough.
In terms of Tampa Bay, Ryan, we talked about the players that they were going to be missing coming into this game, and you did mention the fact that Wirfs and Ryan Jensen did go down. Jensen came back. We're waiting to hear about the situation with Wirfs. But were you impressed with how Brady and this offense was able to function, missing all of those bodies and having to kind of acclimate new players into the offense?
Absolutely, Jeremy. In the first few drives, we saw Tom Brady look a little frustrated because he wasn't on the same page with his receivers, primarily because he hadn't thrown to those guys a lot during the course of the season. Mike Evans looked like Mike Evans, but Bashard Perriman struggled. We saw Tyler Johnson struggle at times. And I think after those first few series, everyone seemed to be on the same page. He was able to lean on Gronkowski a little more, and it looked like the Buccaneers offense we saw over the final half of last season all the way to the Super Bowl. Pete's right, though. It's hard to measure exactly how good this team is against an Eagles team that was outmatched from start to finish. And if Tristan Wirfs is down, that's a concern. His backup Wells was also banged up. We heard Bruce Arians say that he's going to have to play no matter what during that game against Philadelphia. We'll see what happens next week in terms of their health. Also impressive, playoff Lenny was not there. Keyshawn Vaughn stepped up. The running game was still clicking. Gio Bernard made some big plays as well. So it's good to have depth at those positions where they need on the offensive side of the ball. The defense played well again, and they've been ravaged by injuries all season long. Had opportunities for even more turnovers than what they ended up with. But again, I think you have to feel good about where Tom Brady is, where this offense is, assuming Tristan Wirfs can be able to play next week, and the fact that the young wide receivers were able to step up when guys went down, or in Antonio Brown's case, he sort of moonwalked off the field for one last time.
Depending on how things play out, Tampa Bay will play Dallas, the Rams, or Arizona in the divisional round. Which matchup do you see as being the best one for them there, Pete?
I think they'd rather play Arizona of all of them. I think they're the team that, when you look at them, I think you can contain Murray with your edge rushers, and I don't think they're going to, ram the ball down at them. So I think Arizona would be the best. But here's the thing about Tampa Bay, and I'll reference a conversation we joked around with Peyton Manning once, a bunch of us writers. He had all these backup receivers, and he threw for like 300 yards in a game. And I said to him, you could throw to me, him, and still throw for 230. Well, Tom Brady can throw to Jeremy, me, and Ryan and still throw for 230. That's who those guys are. And we saw Mike Evans had a good game. That's a good sign for the Bucs going forward. But he still didn't get the other guys other than Gronk and Evans that much involved. And when you move forward in the postseason, those guys got to step up and become factors. It can't just be those two.
Pete Prisco and Ryan Wilson helping us break down the first of Super Wildcard Weekend Sunday games. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving on to the divisional round. The Philadelphia Eagles go out. For more from this game and, of course, everything that's going on in the playoffs, be sure to check out Ryan, Will Brinson, John Breach, part of the Pick Six podcast. They're bringing you podcasts all throughout the playoffs, of course, all season long. You can download and follow the Pick Six podcast wherever you get your preferred podcast audio. You can also watch the show on YouTube.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.